Hey, this is Carrie from Wrap Your Head Around Silks. This is the Expecting Aerials podcast, now with the Digitin Network. How's it going, guys? I hope you're having a wonderful week. Lots of stuff going on at Wrap Your Head Around Silks. First and foremost, the live virtual 60-minute class Roll It Out. We use peanuts and foam rollers, and we hit the floor together every Sunday night and Tuesday night. 7 p.m. Pacific time. We also have a portal so you can look at videos whenever the time is convenient for you. And we roll out all the aerialist problems. And honestly, now that I'm doing it this often, I don't know what I did before because I feeling so much better. And when I don't have it, I'm like, oh my God, crickety crackety. So, and then also I'm going to give you guys opportunity with some of my other products that are geared towards you guys. So just keep your eyes peeled. Today we have Adrienne Piras, Catherin. She actually resides in Lyon, France. She is a friend of mine from high school. I know. And she went into, I can't say this right, naturopathy. Got it. Awesome. You guys, I just butchered that. Anyways, so she helps us and gives us some tips on living a healthy, athletic life. Little things that we can do on a daily basis to help us have greater wellness. Little things that we can do pretty easily. So I love talking to her. She was the coolest upperclassman when I was a junior. She was a senior. This girl's so cool. And now we're friends. Isn't that the best? All right, guys. Let's meet Adrienne. All right, guys, let's get started. Listeners, this is Adrienne Piras, Catherin, and she is actually somebody that I went to high school with. We reconnected recently. And one of the reasons why I wanted to bring her onto this podcast is because her wealth of knowledge, and she's going to give us hopefully some tips for good living today. But also because in the future, I don't know when in the future, but her and I had talked about doing a joint retreat somewhere in Europe, aerial and wellness retreat. And so, just wanted to perk you guys' ears up about that. And it's cooking. We're cooking. We're not cooking a lot, very hot, but it's marinating. And Adrienne, you have another retreat right now that you are currently working on. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, hi, Carrie. Well, yeah, so I'm actually collaborating with a friend of mine who's a yoga. So I'm a naturopath, and I'm based in Lyon, France. I'm a naturopath and a reflexologist. And right now I have a retreat planned in September with my friend Dagmar Spremberg, who's a yoga teacher in Costa Rica. And we're hosting a retreat in Mallorca, on the island of Mallorca in September. It's a yoga and detox retreat, a week retreat, sold out, but it's going to be fun.
So what does that mean? How many people?
So we try to keep it intimate because, this retreat is really going to be focusing on individual personalized accompaniment. So there are going to be 12 people attending this retreat.
Okay.
So there's going to be yoga in the morning and the evening. We're going to have, community, different techniques, different workshops on nutrition, on the art of communication, artistic workshops, that kind of thing. Also excursions, personalized naturopathic consultation and program for each person, really healthy food. We're going to eat well, enjoy the sun and sunshine on the, during the off season. It's a little bit of the off season in September. It's not when there's tons of crowds. So it's a nice time to visit Mallorca for sure in September when it's still warm and the water's still nice too.
Adrienne, when's the last time you were in Mallorca?
I told you those, Carrie. So last time I was in Mallorca was when I was 15 years old.
Okay, no, I didn't actually know that. I forgot. So you haven't actually been there since.
Oh. Well, I've been to Spain. I was in Formentera last year, which is, right next to Ibiza. So I've been in the area, but I actually went on a high, Carrie, you and I are friends from high school. And I went on a trip to Mallorca with our high school, with a group from high school.
Yeah. So that is the last time I was in Mallorca as well, but I was in Spain and Barcelona like pre-pandemic for a wedding.
Oh, because we were on that trip together in Mallorca. Oh, yeah. That's crazy. That's right.
That trip was amazing.
Oh my gosh, that's right. We were in Spain. I know. That was pretty cool. Us girls from Ohio traveling to Europe.
We felt pretty worldly, I think. But we probably were not. You could not have been 15.
Well, I was drinking sangria then. Oh. This is now I don't drink alcohol.
Oh, you don't drink. I had my first.
I wasn't supposed to be drinking sangria, but I think I was.
No, but our teachers kind of like didn't try to like not have us drink because we would have just did it behind their backs. Because you can get alcohol. Yeah, you can get alcohol in Europe.
When you're 18.
Well, you couldn't have been 15 because I was.
No, I was 8. I think I was just turned 18.
Yeah.
So you can drink alcohol when you're 18.
Yeah, but I wasn't 18. I was probably 16, and I still had my first alcoholic beverage of my life in Mallorca. And I was like, this is what people have been talking about. I get it. Gin and tonic.
Well, I don't drink at all. I don't drink alcohol at all anymore. So
well, when did you stop drinking alcohol?
Old days. Oh my gosh. Well, when I turned 25, I was living in New York. At that time, I'd moved to New York. I moved to New York when I was 22 after college. And I was having all these digestive problems, lots of skin problems, lots of eczema. And at that time, I met an integrative nutrition health coach when I was 25. I was also in a really horrible relationship. It was just, everything was not going well in my life. And basically I signed up for her program and she changed the course of my life. And I started eating healthier. Just basically I stopped drinking coffee. I'm not going to talk about everything I stopped eating. It was basically what I started eating. I started eating a lot of whole foods, whole grains, greens, well, everything I started adding into my diet. And then everything else that wasn't good for me fell away, that I just didn't want it anymore. So that was when I was 25 years old. I also started doing yoga at that time, got out of that horrible relationship. My digestive problems were, I'd visited the gastroenterologist and everything. I mean, I was really having some serious issues. Everything just healed. And I also met a naturopath during that time. That's when I just started doing all these types of complementary healing modalities, was in New York. And then when I moved to France and, several years later, I decided to go back to school and become a naturopath here in France. It really stemmed from that period of my life in New York. That's what, really inspired me to become a naturopath here.
Now, were you doing all the things that I was doing when I was 21 to 25? Like, not anything hard, but like, I was partying. Were you that person?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah. I mean, I went to Denison. I mean, I was at a party college at the time. I think it's not as much so, but it's the whole fraternity sorority crowd, all that, it was
like
nuts.
Crappy beer.
And when I moved, I was, it's funny because when I think back at that time, I mean, when I moved to New York, and I definitely was like, it was like Sex in the City period.
Yeah.
I was going out drinking Cosmos. Going out with my girlfriends. Yeah. I mean, that was the scene, but then I also was like, I don't need all this to have fun. Like I can still party and dance and laugh and you know what I mean? I can still be myself with all that stuff. So that's what I do now.
I love it. Okay. So she's actually been on Greener Grass and we talked about other topics, but this is the Expecting Aerialist, obviously. So here's our population. Our population are a bunch of women, a lot of A-type personalities, although not every single one. Physically fit more than the average population, and doing an insane hobby or an insane profession where we're taking a good amount of risk, being on the air all the time. And let's like ease into it. So what would you say, just as a starting point into what you do, on good living and wellness, and just a couple things we can do, very introductory things that we could do like today to tip our scales the other way, to get into better habits, etc. Is that a hard question to answer?
Well, I work with people on a very individualized basis. So, just to give you a little bit of background on I'll just explain to you what a naturopath
That's
is.
great.
Basically, yeah. So, a naturopath is a health professional that really addresses. It's really a form of naturopathy is really a form of preventative medicine. So we really try to address the root cause of all imbalances. So if you go to like a normal conventional doctor, for example, that doctor will give you a treatment, and there's so many integrative medicine physicians out there, more, I'm sure, especially in Los Angeles where you live. But we're not just treating just the symptoms, of imbalances or disease. We're treating the root cause of the disease. So when you go see a naturopath, you're going to spend an hour and a half with that person, and they're going to ask you so many questions based on your background, on your antecedents, your family background, your family history, all the medications, all the illnesses you've had since your childhood, for example, any trauma, any major life changes in your life. And of course, I'm going to ask you about what you eat, how you sleep, how you eliminate toxins from your body. If you're urinating as much as you should be, or you're going number 2 as much as you should be, you know what I mean? Like, it's a really in-depth consultation. So as someone who, I'm not an aerialist, so you're going to have to explain to me a little bit, like, what is your day? What is your training like? What is your day like? How do you support all your physical needs through food? Are you fatigued after how long, how many hours a day do you practice? I mean, all that stuff is going to inform me on how I would give advice,
Yesterday I actually did a really good training. And so I go in and it's a 90-minute session because I don't have more time than that. I'm basically teaching at the same time. I do a bunch of floor stuff, some TheraBand stuff, and then probably over the course of the evening, 50 half pull-ups. So I'm really like doing a lot of upper body work, not as many leg exercises. And, I get home and I'm starving because I've just done 50 half pull-ups. And last night, for example, I made myself like homemade ramen with some pork chops and some bok choy and a bunch of water and called it a day. But I don't know if that helps you give us any like thoughts.
Well, I think, of course, it's really important to drink a ton of water before doing any physical activity. That's just a given. But, it's really important that the quality of your water, is the right quality of water. We tend to, well, here in France, a lot of people buy bottled water because there's so much calcium deposits in water, in the tap water here.
Okay.
And those calcium deposits can also you can't filter them completely through your kidneys. Like, those deposits go onto your arteries, they get stuck in your body. They're not evacuated as they should be. And a lot of people tend to buy bottled water, which is horrible for our environment with plastic, buying all these plastic water bottles. I have a reverse osmosis system actually that filters the water. It takes out all the, because we can't metabolize all these minerals, because it's like, think about it, it's like rock. Like, your body can't assimilate all these mineral deposits. And so it gently remineralizes the water, and it puts in there's like lithotam, which is calcium. It helps with calcium for your body to absorb calcium, that kind of thing. Just have to be really important to have the right kind of water that has like a low residue. like not as many high mineral deposits. Also to make sure you're getting enough protein. I think a lot of people don't eat enough protein for breakfast. I think, I'm also thinking about France, the typical French breakfast, but I think more, it depends how you grew up. I don't know what you're eating for breakfast. I'm sure you're eating some protein.
Yeah, I'm having eggs usually.
But that's so important. Okay. But that's also important not to eat the same thing every single day, because that's when you can develop intolerances.
Oh, please talk about that.
You really have to. Well, that's another thing. I mean, that's also, that could be, I don't know if you've ever been tested for any type of food allergy or food intolerance. You have different, and food intolerances are difficult. You should get some lab tests done potentially to identify if you have any intolerances, because that can be a big cause of tons of digestive imbalances, fatigue, if you have skin issues, there could be create a host of problems for you if you have imbalances. My sister, my little sister, was eating eggs every day. And I remember visiting her and I was like, she is literally eating 2 or 3 eggs every single day. And guess what? Her and her husband, now they're intolerant to eggs.
How does the body, why is that?
You know what? I mean, your body needs to diversify its foods. If you eat the same thing over and over and over again, you can, there's an explanation for it. That's more, a medical explanation for it. I want to see it's part of your immune system starts to recognize it as something that needs to attack. So it's almost like an autoimmune change in your body that happens.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah. Okay.
So it's like, if you, over time, your body starts to recognize them as like a foreign object, and then your body creates inflammation, it creates inflammation in your body, et cetera.
Diversify those meals. I love this. This is something that I had heard of that. No one told it to me straight like that. So I do eggs sometimes. I do cereal sometimes. But yeah, protein at breakfast then. So different types of protein.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've ever heard about the glucose goddess. She's French actually, and she's so famous. Have you heard of her?
I haven't.
The glucose goddess. Her name is Jessie Unshospe. She's a biochemist, and she's written all these New York Times bestseller books. She's amazing, and what I love about her is that she wore a glucose monitor over a certain period of time and monitored her glucose levels. And also has a whole community who also did the same thing. And she's just like, her big recommendations are like, okay, make sure that you don't, especially for folks who are doing high intensity sports, you want to make sure that your glucose levels are stable. Because if you're getting like a big glucose fructose spike, and then you're getting too much sugar all in one sitting, then your glucose levels dip, because you need more glucose to feed it. Basically, if you have more of a stable glucose, stable, your energy levels will remain stable as well. Okay. So you always have to make sure for breakfast, you have protein, a fat. If you eat fruit, that's okay, but it should be low sugar fruits, like red fruits, like berries, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, that kind of thing. Make sure not to have too much sugar at breakfast, because that really impacts your day and your energy levels, and it will set the tone for the rest of the day. So try to eat a savory breakfast.
So it's really useful that so many breakfast cereals are loaded with sugar
and gluten, and it's not the enemy, gluten, but it's definitely an inflammatory food. And sugar is too. So, and that can totally be inflammatory for your digestive system as well. So I'm just thinking of your case.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of cereal you're eating.
Well, I started eating like a whatever brand of Raisin Bran, because the fiber does help the number 2s, but
Well, you know what was really helpful for that?
What's that?
Is drinking in the morning before you eat or drink. Squeeze a tablespoon of lemon juice and like 2 tablespoons of olive oil and drink that. And I tell you, it's going to be like smooth moving along.
Wait.
It's very helpful for in cases of constipation.
Go back. lemon,
freshly squeezed lemon juice, along with a couple tablespoons of good quality olive oil, extra
like
virgin olive oil.
in water. Just take it. Just
no, not in water because the olive oil isn't it's not hydrosoluble.
Right.
So you have to just drink it. It's not, probably not your most favorite thing to start with in the morning, but I tell you, it really helps. It helps get things moving along.
All right.
Yeah. And then you drink a big glass of water after.
Okay. This reverse osmosis situation, is it expensive to buy a machine that does that?
I mean, yes, it is. It is. I mean, I think in France, you can always, well, okay. So there's I'm trying to think of the word in English because in French, I'm like, it's in my brain, charbon actif. We have like little ceramic. You can also buy like little ceramic, like little balls or charbon. What is that called? Charbon. Active carbon.
Oh, activated
carbon.
Okay.
Activated charcoal. That's what I'm looking for. Activated charcoal. That also will help purify your water. But I feel like for me, the reverse osmosis is one of the best solutions, although it also consumes a lot of water. I mean, it's like, there's nothing that's a panacea, but it's an investment.
The regular like Brita or, from Target, what do those things do?
It doesn't, well, it takes out like chlorine, it takes out major contaminants, but a reverse osmosis system that takes out like endocrine disruptors, pharmaceutical drugs, that kind of thing. It detoxes all that. It purifies all those things. So it's really difficult to purify our water. I mean, of course, I think it's listed the EPA or in the United States, we also have our government that says, okay, this water is certified, it's okay to drink, but it's not. Like I mean, I've had my water tested. I had another system that was okay, but it still wasn't working in its like optimal level because I had it for 8 years. So I just changed. Actually, I just got a new system last fall.
So you invest in one for the house.
Yeah, I did just for our drinking water, not for our laundry.
Right. So you're drinking water and then you just take a big canister of it to work with you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Yes. Okay.
I do. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Diversity in our meals. So tell me about how you feed your kids. Like what's like a great lunch? What are some great snacks and a dinner? Assuming that, are you vegetarian? No.
I'm not a vegetarian, not at all. Because I also studied, so I am a naturopath, but I also studied at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition back in the day now it's an online program, but I studied when it was in person in 2005. And, my blood type is O positive, and, O positive blood types are the hunters. So, they're the first blood type that existed on this planet. So we need more animal protein. It depends. Like that, I don't know if you've ever read that book, The Blood Type Diet. It's interesting. I'm not agreed with all of it.
I don't know the ins and the outs, but I have somebody in my life before who really lived and died by it. So I kind of heard about it a lot. You find out your blood type and then you kind of eat towards it. And so you kind of feel that way, but you don't agree with every single thing.
Well, I feel like there's so many dietary theories that exist out there, and you have your tidbits, you have like your, these interesting things that you can integrate into your life from all of them in some sense, So for me, I personally have a tendency to be anemic. So for me also, that's also a reason why I'm not a vegetarian, because it's really tough to be a vegetarian and get enough iron, enough B12. You have to be really particular about the foods you eat. And you should also be consulting with a naturopath or a functional medicine doctor, et cetera, to help you get it the right balance of foods. So I also, iron is better absorbed through animal protein. So I don't eat a lot of red meat, but I eat once in a while, I eat more chicken, et cetera. But for example, my kids eat lunch at school. They're not allowed to bring a packed lunch to school unless they have a food allergy or intolerance.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Why is that?
So my kids, because that's just how it is in France. That's a good question. Why is that?
Okay.
So, I think it's also to kind of, it's a really good question, but they want the kids to have I think it's part of for helping kids who come from low income families. They try to make it affordable and make sure there's enough food for kids to eat. So every meal is a 4-course meal. You have your appetizer.
Does it come out timed or is it all at once?
You know what? In my kids, in their last school, it was coming out timed. And now they can pick what they want and they can put it
their
on
plate.
They have different choices now. They can pick what they want out of the different choices. So they have the appetizer, which is usually some sort of vegetable, like raw vegetable salad, that kind of thing. They have their main dish, which is some sort of meat, protein, or fish. They also have vegetarian options as well. They have the cheese course, so they can get yogurt or some other type of cheese. I
love it. France has a cheese course.
And dessert. And dessert, they have some sort of fun dessert, or they can have fruit salad, So on the days that my son has sports, he says, I choose the fruit salad on the day I have sports because I get too tired after lunch otherwise if I eat a big dessert. So that's their lunch. Okay. So for breakfast, my kids, it changes. I change it up. So, some mornings they'll have eggs with baby spelt bread and avocado, or that's what my daughter loves that. My boys are more into almond butter or banana on bread, which is baby spelt bread. We tend to buy that a lot because it has low gluten.
Okay.
And it's sourdough, so it's more digestible. They also eat things like, I don't know, muesli, oatmeal, but I always try to put protein on it. So I always try to put walnuts or a dollop of yogurt, or they're always going to have some form of fresh fruit. That's their breakfast. And then dinner is whatever's in season. Here I can't find everything that I want. It's always in New York, I would go to the grocery store and it'd be okay, I used to shop at a food co-op in Brooklyn, which was amazing. The Park Slope Food Co-op. And so we had a lot of local growers, a lot of local farmers. It was all organic. It was amazing. We had 5 different kinds of kale. Then when I moved to France, I was I couldn't find anything.
Really?
This was in 2010. Oh, that was the hardest thing. Cause I used to make green juice. I was all into it. My life has changed. I don't eat, how I feel I used to eat differently before I had kids, but I do my best. I try to eat, I try to eat as healthy as possible, but there's also the part of living in France and you have really good croissants and, you have the pleasure foods and you don't feel, I think we talked about this.
Yeah, you don't feel terrible after.
On the greener grass. You don't feel terrible because we eat a lot of sourdough bread. We'll eat sourdough bread, food that is easy to digest. You don't have a lot of GMOs. There are a lot of pesticides that are banned in France. So, and the thing is, you buy food that's local and that's seasonal.
Yeah.
You live in California, you have so much stuff that's available, but even in New York, things would be shipped from California.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could get everything you wanted. Here, I can't. I mean, I do eat really seasonally. So that's great. It's local, it's seasonal. It's basically based on what I can find, So my kids, I miss Asian, I love getting some Korean food or making a good stir fry, with rice and vegetables, maybe some chicken, or that could be a dinner. Last night, my husband made cauliflower rice with some other vegetables and some a protein, some fish. It just depends. you know.
Okay.
And they always have some sort of, maybe they like yogurt or like an apple, like a compote at the end of a meal, like an apple compote.
Oh my God. I love it. I love it. You know, on Greener Grass, we talked about the cultural stuff. And really, I think just being in America doesn't help because you have to make a big effort, in my mind, to like make sure you're eating whole foods. And not to say that you're shopping at Whole Foods because it's so expensive. So like, but like just to make food the way it was created a priority. I have to say, so white rice has gotten such a bad rap recently because it's like not very fibrous, like it's not low glycemic, all this stuff. But I'm Chinese.
Yes.
Like, no information that I pull into my life now is going to change me from like steering away from my white rice.
Well, we have semi-complete, it's like half, it's like, I mean, because it's a refined food.
Yeah.
The white
rice. Yeah.
So ideally you would buy like the brown short grain rice. I guess that corresponds more to like sushi rice.
Yeah.
I would buy brown sushi
right.
rice, right?
Yeah.
But we have a rice. It kind of tastes like white rice, but it's like half brown rice.
So
I don't know if that even exists in the United States because I find that here often.
So it was like engineered to be half and half.
No, they polish it. You know, they like take the hull off of the grain of rice, partially, not completely, like they do with brown rice.
No way.
Because white rice is basically you remove the hull of the brown rice, my dear.
Oh, is that how white rice? No way. And
so it's refined. So ideally, like you were saying, you would eat more whole foods. In France, you know what's interesting? You're asking me also about snacks. I mean, French people give their kids so much sugar at snack time. It's like cookies. It's like giving a kid a bunch of like, or they'll get a big croissant or pain au chocolat, you know, chocolate croissant. I try to give them, if I'm at home and I have time to prepare, I try to give them smoothies with some sort of protein and fat in it. Or like, I do give them like cookies, but I try to get them like the low sugar ones with always some sort of cashews or protein or dried fruit. Like I try to do that. But what's very interesting is that French people do not snack.
Oh.
It's so rare. Like that's the big difference. Like I see it when I go to see my family at home. You know, my dad will open up a box of crackers and just start snacking on them. You know, it's just, French people don't snack. It's really just 3 meals a day. Maybe you'll have like a little of maybe some nuts or something at 4:00 and a piece of fruit or something, but it's really uncommon. I feel like, it depends on where you grow up. Like we talked about you live in California, but like, you know, my family was snacking on popcorn, on chips. And when I was growing up, we had like wheat thins. That was a long time ago. But do you snack? Do you snack or not really?
Yeah, you know, I do, but I have to say that, like, you know, as you were saying, there's so many ways to do it. Like, for example, for SIBO, what they sometimes say is good is to do intermittent fasting because you're giving your body like a lot of time to clean itself out. But then the problem is that you're supposed to eat what you need for the day in a shorter amount of time. But if your digestion is kind of slow, that's really problematic.
Yeah, it's really important to drink a ton of water when you're intermittent fasting. I've definitely recommended intermittent fasting to different patients, but it also depends on your own personal, like you were saying with SIBO, that could be beneficial for you. But at the same time, I feel like women shouldn't have, I think you should have a longer window. Yeah, because I think eating over 8 hours is just not enough time. And especially with all the hormonal changes that are going on, it can be it can be really challenging. And I don't know if you follow there are different practitioners out there who really recommend that women have a longer window, like a 10-hour window, for example.
Oh, okay.
So a 10-hour eating window and a 14-hour fasting window, for example.
I think,
or 12 and 12.
I think I do that anyway.
Okay. So that's better. That's better. Well, yeah, because when do you eat breakfast?
Oh, we haven't eaten yet. Her and I.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you're on it.
I'm basically on it.
Just have to make sure you get enough fiber, like you said. Make sure you're eating enough fiber.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is a hard balance for me because if it's not balanced, I'll either have constipation or diarrhea. It's really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the thing about me too is like, oh, it's a really good idea to see a naturopath or a functional nutritionist, but like I'm such a cheater too. Like I'm such a cheater. Like I'll like be really like 80% good on my diet and my 20% is like trash. You know what I'm saying?
That's okay.
Yeah?
Well, you know what? I always have like that 80-20 rule. I feel also when you give yourself, when you deprive yourself, you say, I can't have this, then you want it even more. You know, it's like, you got to give yourself some pleasure in life. I mean, it depends on on the issue at hand.
Yeah, of course.
If you have, you know, something that's very serious and then you need to heal from, then it's hard to do the 20%. But, you know, I think there's a fine line with, I don't believe in diets. I just don't believe in diets. I believe in listening to your body's intuition and giving yourself whole foods, like foods that are healing foods, trying to avoid the inflammatory foods. Okay. And really listening to what your body needs. I think that's the real beauty of this work that I do, is teaching people how to listen to their own personal intuition and learning how to really nourish themselves and, you know, with food, but also how else can we nourish ourselves? I mean, we're talking about food right now, but there's also, you know, there's other forms of nourishment out there. So however it may be, through your relationships, through your work that you do, your spirituality, it can be so many different things that really nourish you. And if you're eating like perfectly, but there's other things that are totally off in your life, then you're not going to be balanced. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So really figuring out, what do you need? What do you need right now to really nourish you on a deeper level than just through food?
Yes, I have a separate question. So back to the alcohol. You stopped drinking alcohol in your mid-20s. I mean, that would be like the one reason I moved to France. You know what I'm saying?
Well, okay. I'm going to say I stopped drinking alcohol regularly when I moved to France when I was 25. Once in a while, I would have a little bit of wine. Okay. But then I would feel terrible.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, this is part of my whole, okay, once you start eating more healthfully, you just don't want it anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I was so much more sensitive, especially after having my children and breastfeeding and everything. I just became so sensitive to alcohol. I mean, that could also be related to, like, you know, maybe at some point I really needed to do a liver detox, because that can also happen to people who are really sensitive to alcohol, that they need to really go have a liver detox if their liver's overloaded. But yes, so I've done a bunch of detoxes. So it's all fine. My liver's good now. But yeah, I mean, France, yes, it's known for its wine, but it's not known just for its wine. You know, there's so many other good things
for its cheese, its croissants, its baguettes, and its wine. That's why I visit.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, if you do a retreat in France, you're going to have some wine and baguettes.
You know what I'm going to be. You know what I'm going to be eating for a whole week, and then be like, okay, now I have to detox from this. Oh my God. Do you is the pasta great there?
See, you know what? I feel like you need to go to Italy to really get amazing pasta. France is not. No, I mean, I live in Lyon, which is the capital of gastronomy.
Yes, there's a lot of meat.
Actually, was just at a lot a lot of organ meats, not just meats, a lot of intestines, that kind of thing, tripe, cow stomach, that kind of. But that's not, I mean, my friends don't eat that kind of stuff, but it's well known for that. It's also well known for, they're called quenelles. They're like fish mixed with like a kind of like with flour, and then you poach it. It has this beautiful sauce with it. I mean, these are the things I'm talking about. So Lyon is not, I'm more into food from Provence in the south of France, which is more olive oil based. It's more your Mediterranean diet. That's what I'm more into, which is obviously so much better for you. And so many benefits from the Mediterranean diet have been touted.
Every single time I bring because I had a expert on keto come in like a couple weeks ago to talk about keto. Every single time I talk to a person in this category, I'm just like, oh, I gotta focus.
I honestly, I think the more, just make sure. I mean, this is, you do what you want to do, but I think that the most important thing is just getting enough vegetables and really monitoring your glucose levels, like making sure you're getting like having stable glucose levels. So you're not creating more inflammation in your body, not creating more I don't know. Do you ever get fatigued after you're working out, or are you tired during the day? How is your sleep?
Getting enough sleep now, I think. It is a very good question, all of it together, because you guys should see Adrienne's face right now. She's like, okay. I cannot believe we know each other from that tiny ass little town.
I know. It's so funny. And I can't believe that we were in Mallorca. I can't believe that we went to Spain together. I mean, that was an amazing trip. But it's so crazy. And I'm hosting a retreat there in September, and I haven't been there since our trip. That is random.
OMG, Adrienne, you are like, I just am going to make up ways for us to hang out the rest of our lives, because you are still the coolest. And I don't say that very often because I don't use that terminology, but when you were in high school, I don't know what it was. It was because you were so nice, and you were so cool and nice, and not like cliquey, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I have so much fun talking to you. I love it. And very helpful. Actually, I have to tell you, we recorded this a little bit ago, and I took your advice and I started actually drinking alkaline water. And I still have to figure out the long-term situation, because buying an alkaline water system for the house is quite expensive. But it's actually helped my acid reflux like considerably. And then I read online that a lot of people who have acid reflux and esophagitis actually use, alkaline water, because it's not as acidic, and it helps the esophagus, I don't know, come the fuck down. That's my scientific way of explaining it. Awesome. All right. So Adrienne, you're amazing. And I hope this aerial community gets to meet you. Hopefully we'll get to work with each other in the future. For my listeners out there, let's roll it out together, please. I would love to see you, make friends with you. It'd be amazing. See you on the Zoom. And then lots of other stuff on the website. Check it out there, and lots of free stuff. All right, my friends. Over and out. It's an amazing week. I'll see you guys next time. I appreciate you guys. Please honor me with a 5-star rating and review. All the good stuff. All right, my friends. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys next time. And this is Be Expecting Our Lives.